Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to do a quick intro before I show you a video. I'm about to post you a video that we have posted inside the Subto Facebook group. That's a private community. That is, it's not just a mentorship. It's not just a community. It really has grown to a community, and I think now it's really growing to be a movement. So I'm excited to share some little tidbits of what we're doing inside. Now, I'm not going to share any confidential stuff. You're not going to get links to the stuff that we're doing, but I want you to know that Subto is actively training an army of transaction coordinators. If you're a wholesaler, if you're doing creative finance, you probably know how hard it is to get deals all the way through to the finish line. Paperwork is important. You probably don't have time for that. We are literally training an army of transaction coordinators. So you better watch out. You better be reaching out to Sub2 students and say, hey, connect me to your transaction coordinators. I promise you, we're going to be the best transaction coordinators there are out there for cash and creative deals, especially creative deals, because they're tough, they're dynamic. We're going to hold ourselves to a higher standard than anybody else. You look for this logo and you trust it, because this is what we're doing. Watch.
The transaction coordinator in you, if you are going to be a transaction coordinator, you need to understand a list of things, okay, that are your responsibility that you might not even understand are your responsibility, okay? And I hear these amazing stories where people say, well, I hired a transaction coordinator and the transaction coordinator said, that's not my job. Perfect. If you are a transaction coordinator and you are also the type of lazy human being that says things like, that's not my job, that's okay. You'll never be my transaction coordinator. In fact, you'll very, very seldomly become anybody's transaction coordinator. Know that everything, just the way I'm telling you right now, everything is your responsibility or their responsibility as a transaction coordinator to fill in the gaps of anything anybody should have done, didn't do, got paid to do, does not matter. You guys, your product is not your product. Your product is your user experience.
So you see the basis, the attitude behind the training that we're producing. We are training an army of the best. You watch. So then after I did some training on how to fill out a contract in detail, breaking down line by line the contract, this is what I did, and then assigned some homework. Watch this. Now, if you're taking on a client who is buying somebody else's contract, do you care to see the underlying contract? If you're a transaction coordinator and you're working for a team that is the assignee who is signing an assignment agreement, guess what you'd better do? You had better read that underlying contract. And guess what wholesalers are scared to do? I don't want to give you a copy of my contract. No way. You'll see my price. I don't care about your price. Black it out. I literally don't care what your price is. This is a deal, right? My team is going to buy this deal from you. That's why we asked for the agreement. But I'm not going to assume some stupid underlying contract terms that you wrote up in your wrong contract because you're not a part of Sub 2. I want to see your contract before I assume the rights and responsibilities in that contract. This is the deal flow, right? So we have a contract signed, and from that point, your first step is to hire a TC. Your second step is magic, and your third step is profit. That's what our, you know what? That's what our clients should feel like. Okay, so find creative friendly title company or attorney. You want to control that narrative, okay? So this is critical right here. Actually, if you don't do this right, the deal can fall apart. You need to fill out a complete wholesale contract. You need to fill out a complete assignment contract. I want to see signatures, right? You can squat up. You can look up the information. You can go back and watch the previous training, but it's all there. You have everything at your fingertips to do the job and to do it right. Use attention to detail, fill it out right, and put in dummy signatures. I want to see like completed contracts from people when we come back together next week. Completed contracts, properly executed with dummy names and all that stuff. So do whatever you got to do. I don't care if you print it, sign it, and scan it back in. Use the resources at your fingertips, squat up with people, and get it done. Oh, they sent a follow-up text. Oh, yeah, James is the sole member of his company, and Mace is one of 3 members. Oh, and we want to do that single signer thing that you talked about, just for this one property, though. No other single signer authority. The other parties are Frank Sinatra and Holden McGroin. So make sure you get that paperwork in there, too. Surprise! Stuff like that happens.